Hello and welcome back to For Real. My name is Jeremy, along with Claire, my wife. We live and work in Siem Reap, Cambodia. Today I'm heading out to the Siem Reap pier, which is about a 40-minute drive from the centre of Siem Reap. I've been invited by the director of Bamboo Shoots, which is an organisation which empowers women and also helps with the local environment. They mainly focus on the waterways and the large lake. The lake here in Siem Reap is the largest lake in Southeast Asia. But unfortunately, when the villages have become much larger, the rubbish situation has got out of control. It is very hard to get the rubbish from the villages back into the mainland, especially in the wet season. This has caused a lot of the rubbish to be thrown just straight back into the lake. So the director, Mr. C, has devised a way of collecting this rubbish. He's repurposed large fishing cages, like the one up above, into a bin. So when the bin's full, they'll just replace that with another large cage. This is good because you can reposition the cages around the area. Also, if they put buoys on the cages, they can float. So this will be great for when the water does rise. This is our route for today. We mainly go along the waterfront most of the way. It takes about 42 minutes from our unit out to the floating village. As you can see there, that's where there's a dock there, but you keep going down past the floating village, one of the floating villages, down to this white point. That's actually where the road ends. There's no water there at the moment, so you can actually ride your bike all the way out to the Siem Reap pier. It's a very interesting ride. If you do want to skip the ride and just see the last part, just skip to the 20-minute point. There's a few things there which are very interesting on the way into the floating village. I'll pick up the conversation back on the 20th minute. If you do want to watch the ride, it's very interesting. There's a lot of shops, people just going around their day-to-day life. There's also a few fishing huts on the way out to the village. So sit back, relax, enjoy. It's very, very nice ride out there. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that ride up to this point. We're coming up to this big white gate. The road seems to go straight, but for some unknown reason, it's blocked off. I think it might be roadworks. But we are pushed through this white gate. I don't know if you're supposed to pay a toll if you're a foreigner, but there was someone in this little booth. I kind of snuck through with this tuk-tuk. He didn't really seem to care that I came through, but this abandoned, I don't know what it is, park is huge. It's massive. We come through this part here. We come through is actually part of a building. So they've just rerouted the road through this rundown, abandoned park. I don't know what the park was all about. Maybe any Khmer people who know what this was all about. It's very interesting. It's because it's huge. It goes the other direction for about nearly a k. So it's huge. So you go through here, and there's all these like maybe stalls are supposed to be here. Supposed to be like a little industrial park. But it's very, very weird. There's these little huts. They're all the way, just all the way down the other way for about nearly a kilometre down the other way. So you zigzag through here. It's a bit rough. So I didn't know really where I was going. There's no directions. Just following that tuk-tuk. So you zigzag through here and down another corner. So you see straight, that will be full of water, I think, when the water returns. It does come quite high. And you go down the street and you come to another construction area. I don't know if these are houses, shops, but just rows of these like little stall areas. I don't know if they're trying to make another little village out here, but it's quite weird that just before there was a whole area that was abandoned, and now this area is being built. You do see in Siem Reap a lot of huge hotels being built next to other hotels which have failed, or hotels which are for sale. I don't know why they don't try and do up the buildings, the hotels that are falling down. But I have been told that the building processes aren't the best here in Siem Reap, so it would be cheaper just to build a whole new building. So here's like near the docks when the water is very low. Either side there is a lot of little houses. I don't know if these are temporary, but it is very eye-opening going through here. It's a little village, a lot of things happening. I'll just let you take it all in, and I'll be back in a minute. As you can see down there on the left, they're all the houses. I think they're actually the floating houses. So when the water does rise, those houses will rise up and they'll be on some kind of platform, because they're right down at the bottom at the moment. I think they're the houses that use for the fish. So when they put a net underneath the house, and they'll have like a trap door, and everyone will live on the house, and they'll have the fish underneath the house, and they just feed the fish underneath there, and it's technically a house slash fishery section. So it's very interesting. Just here, and I've just here a bit further, there's actually a couple of pool tables under these. Maybe back a bit further, there was 3 or 4 pool tables just under a tarp, which people are playing pool. Very interesting. So you see down there, all those houses, when the water rises, they'll probably go back out onto the lake. It was quite special. It's got a bit of a derelict kind of. It's a little bit depressing. The houses are not in very good shape, but it'll be pretty amazing when the water does rise, because both sides will be full of water. I I think it might be up here, the pool tables. Yeah, so these villages, you see down there, how many houses are packed in there waiting for the water. Here's a funeral. In there, there's actually the casket. There were a few people there at the funeral. So it's still houses upon houses down there. Keeps going. So you can see how large the population here. This is not even the main floating village. This is more the houses that will float, but the fishing huts. Down further to the right, there's a turn off which goes to another big stilted fixed village. So this is just the transient, really. These should be floating away when the water rises. So coming up ahead, you can see the house up here, how high it is on this stilts. So the water would definitely come up way up those stilts there, because that's why it's in such high off the ground. As you can see on the road too, the water must come over here because it's all splitting in half. This bloke here is collecting some grass for his cows. I'll just cut it here and I'll pick up when we get closer to the pier. Unfortunately, the road gets pretty bad towards the end. Up here, these people in these trucks are getting soil because the soil's so good due to the silting of the lake. So people come in here, get all the soil, then sell that in the nurseries as fertilizer. So this is the end of the road. This is the white dots. This will be underwater. Unfortunately, I was an hour early for the positioning of the fishing cages. So that truck there actually had the fishing cages on. I didn't find this out until I returned home, unfortunately. But I do have pictures of the finished product. So I kept going out. This will be all underwater after the rainy season. But I go all the way out to it's called the Siem Reap pier. So it's a huge building right out here. You can see when we get out there, where the water level is, rises too for most of the wet season. There's like white, there goes to like a brown line. As you go out there, there's heaps of rubbish on the ground all the way out here. Because it's low, very, very low, the water has revealed all the rubbish that's been thrown out from the village. As you can see, they did a very good job putting out the cages for the bins, also picking up a lot of rubbish. I will be out here again mid-June for a festival for the rising of the lake. Till then, have everyone keep safe. Look down below for all the YouTubers tubing in Siem Reap. Also give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. See you in the next one.